Hello, welcome back to some ASG golf. In this video, I thought I would show how to do the quick play with the ASG game. So when you order a course, you can get the shot by shot, which is the holes, or you can get the quick play. So they don't come together, but most of the courses that they have the shot by shot, they have the quick play card. So there's one card for every hole. Here I have Augusta, so there's one for every hole, and then you use the player card along with this to do the quick play. So still, if you wanted to do a 120 people tournament, that would take a long time, but it's a lot quicker than doing the shot by shot. But of course, I love the shot by shot. But if you wanted to get some other golfers in to have some competition, and you wanted to get a quicker result, then this is the way to go. So I thought I would kind of show some sample play. We'll go through 18 holes here, or maybe 2 rounds with Rory McIlroy. This is Arnold Palmer. He went through 2 rounds, and he ended up with a -3 in both. So what you do is that you have to roll 3 dice. And like the regular game, you have a tens, singles, and then this is going to decide which column on the card that you're going to look at. So if you roll a 1 to 2, you would look in the W column. If you rolled a 3 or 4, you'd look in the I column. If you rolled a 5 or 6, you would look in the P column. So, for example, if we rolled a 55, so you go to the 55 just like ATBA, the 5 tells you that we're going to look in the P column. So you want a 4. So you see the 4 there, the 55 in the P column. And then what you do from there is you go over to the whole card, go to number 4, over to the P column, and then it says we have a 3. So this is a 4 par. Now there's a modifier there. So if there's no modifier, if it's just a regular number, that is your score. So if you got a 2P, that would be a 3, so that would be a birdie. But here we have, again, 55 was a 4, 4P is a 3C. So there's different kinds of modifiers. You've got X, and then you've got the letters, and then you also got like the special symbols like asterisks, the plus sign, or an exclamation point. So those are the 3 different types of modifiers that you have. So the X, if you have a big X, capital X, like we have here on 3P, then you look at the player's quick play rate number, and this is for the X, the large X or the small X. If the quick play rating of the player is higher than the number next to the X, then that means that they get the better score. So a large X is either a birdie or a par. A small X, if I can find one here, a small X is either a par or a bogey. And it's greater or equal to. So, for example, here we see we have a small X. We got a 12. Rory McIlroy's quick play number is a 12, so that's equal to. So that means he gets the better score. Again, a small X is either a par or a bogey, so he would get the par. Here we have a large X, number 7. Again, it's higher, so he gets the better score. The large X is either a birdie or a par, and so he would get the birdie because he had a higher number than that. So that's kind of what the X's are. The A's, the B's, and the C's, those are course modifications, and I can show you here in the instructions. So if it's if the conditions to the course are soft, a large A, well, first off, a large letter means that you get one score better. A small letter means you get one score worse. So obviously they're saying soft means it's easier to play golf, and so you get if you get that A and the conditions are soft, you will get one less off of your score. If they're hard, if the wind is strong, or if you have U.S. Open rough rules, then you would lose one with a B, C, or D. So in this particular example, I'm normal, course condition, no wind, and the rough is normal. And so none of these letter modifiers will come into play in this first one, but that's what those are. So now you can actually roll beforehand. Now this is on Pinehurst. Of course, every course, if you have the hole by hole, the big sheets, you can get your course conditions from that. So this is just Pinehurst, and this isn't across the board. Obviously, places like St. Andrews is going to be pretty windy, Pebble Beach, those places. So your chances to get wind are greater. So for this particular first 18 anyway, we'll say everything is normal. So let's do hole number 1 and do some sample here. So hopefully that was clearer than mud. All right, so you got a 16, and we rolled a 2, so that will be the W. Now, one thing on the cards, any of these modifiers, like the plus, the V, the R, the V, you ignore those for the shot by shot. So just looking for the number. So 16 is a 27 W, 27W is a 5. So Rory McIlroy bogeyed hole number 1. So that's easy as that. Go to your next hole, hole number 2. That's a 61, and you got a 4, so that would be the I column. You got a 14. 14I is a 5C. Now we're again, C would be if the wind was strong, and again we don't have strong winds. So if we did have strong winds, then that actually would be a 6, and so he would have bogeyed this hole. But again, no strong wind, so he parred it. So he stays at +1. Hole number 3. So as easy as that. So you get a 35. A 1 is the W, so that's a 1W. A 1W is an X5, so that's going, again, if he has a quick play rating higher than 5, he will get a birdie, and he does. So that's a par 3. So he gets a par 4 rather. He gets a birdie, and so now he is back to even. So you can see that quick play number is pretty important, and of course it plays into all their numbers. If you 24 is about as bad as you can get. 26 is usually pretty bad. 65 is pretty bad. So if you get those rolls, it's going to affect your quick play. So it's at least from what I can see, it's pretty ingenious. You don't get all the fun of doing hole by hole, but again, if you want some quicker results, this will get them for you. So that's a 14, and we got a 5, so that's a P. That's a 24. A 24P is a 4, and that's a par 3, so he bogeyed again. So he's back to over +1. So hole number 5, par 4, long par 4 here. Ooh, now 66 are usually good, a la Appa, so we got a 2, so that's a 12W. And that's a 4A. So if it was soft conditions, he would have got a 3, but they're not. So he just parred it. So he parred, stays at +1. Hole number 6. This is a 3 par, and I missed the tower. So that's a 65. So that could be bad. So you got not really. His 65 is not too bad, at least his putting is, but not the W, which is what we got a 1. So that's a 4. A 4-1 is a 3. So a 4 in the W column is a 3. And so he parred that one to stay 1 over. So he's not doing as good as Arnold Palmer did so far. Hole number 7, we got a 410-yard 4-par. That's a 16. A 6 is the P column. That's a 27. 27P is a 5. And he bogeyed again. So that puts him at +2. Hole number 8 is a 570-yard 5-par. Arnold Palmer parred and birdied this one. So let's see what Rory can do here. That's a 14. A 5 is a P. That's a 24. A 24-5 in the P column is a 5, so he parred it. Didn't take advantage of the 5 pars. You like to do that in a round of golf. There's one on the back 9 that's like 500 yards, so may get a chance at that one. So we got a 4-par here. Again, he's at 2 over. Again, the 2 rounds at this point, after 9, Arnold was even the first round and -1 the second round. Okay, 33 doubles are typically good, so that's a 12-1, which is a W. That's a 3B. And again, we don't have the B. The B is the hard condition, so he birdied that one. So a birdie to end the front 9 puts him at +1. So you got hole number 10. So I've got 8 courses so far, and I get the cards for every course I get. Again, there's a few courses where they don't have the quick play, but most of them they do. And ASG has a really good selection of courses, and they're actually not very expensive at all. I believe they're 16 for the big sheets, and I think these are maybe 6. They're not much at all. So $20, $25 you can get both per course, which again is expensive if you want to get a lot of courses, but if you want to get a couple, it's not too bad for what you're getting. And I think the game is very well done. And this particular gives you more options. So 13 on the P column, because we've got a 6, is 15. 15 on the P is a 4, so he parred that one. Keep him at +1. Hole number 11. That's a 13-3. That's an iron, so a 4 iron is an X11, and he does have a 12, which is very good. Arnold Palmer's X rating or a quick play rating was only 7, so that means he gets a birdie. So that's a 3. So he draws back to even. So he's making a run here at Arnie. So we roll here for hole number 12, 3-par. That's a 32. He got a 4, which is an iron. 3 iron is a 3, so he just parred that one. Okay, so we got a 5-par. This is a 5-10, so this is the shorter one. That's a 32. You got a 4 in the wood column. A 4 in the wood column is a 5, so he's just able to par it. So not doing good on the 5 pars. Stays it even. And again, this is without, rough course conditions. That's a 55. Again, doubles are usually good. He got a 2, so that's a 2 on the iron. That's a 4A. We don't have soft conditions, and so that's a par. To stay even. So he's got 4 holes left to try to get to Arnie's -3. This is a 500 par, so even a shorter par. 5-par, rather. That's a 44. Doubles are usually good, so that's a 1 on the iron, and he birdied that one. So he's at -1, so 2 strokes away from Arnold. Hole number 16. 54. 5 is a P, so 26 on a P. That might be trouble. 26 on a P, so he just parred that one. Hole number 17. And that's a 65. That could be bad, so that's a 4. A 4, and that's the W column. and that's a 4D. And again, we don't have U.S. Open rough, so that's just a par. So hole number 18, 4 par, 465 yards. Here is the last hole. 41 is a 5, so that's a 20 on the P. 4, and he parred it. So he ends up with a -1. So basically, that's how you do it. So as easy as that. So again, you know, the things that you're looking for, again, the B is if the conditions are hard, you lose your stroke because it's a small letter. A C, you lose your stroke because that would be strong winds. The D, you lose your stroke if you're using U.S. Open rough rules. And an A, you gain a stroke if the conditions are soft. Now, the three special ones, the exclamation point, the asterisk, and the plus. So let's see if we can find an asterisk. Or the exclamation point. There's very few of those, and that one is kind of rare. So I don't know. They may not even be one on this set. I may miss it here, but anyway, it'll have the score. So we'll do an asterisk. So we got a 2 with an asterisk. So the asterisk, the exclamation point, and the plus sign, those are where you will get your double, triple bogeys, that kind of stuff. So a 2 asterisk means if you roll 2 dice, if the reroll is 66, the score is listed 1 stroke less. So a 4 would become a 3. So if you got a 2 and you rolled 66 on the asterisk, then you would get a 1. So that would be an eagle. So that basically on a 3 par, that would be a hole in 1. So that's what that is. The plus sign, let's see if we can find a plus sign. Okay, like 6P here is a plus, so that is possibly a triple bogey. So you roll 2 dice. If 3 is the result of either die, the score listed is plus 1 stroke. So if you got, if you rolled 2 die, and if either one of them is a 3, then that 6 would become a 7. And then you re-roll, and then if you roll a 44, then you add 2 strokes, so that 7 would become an 8. So that would be a 4 over par in this particular hole. So basically that gives you a chance to add 1 stroke or 2 strokes. The exclamation point, which there's just not very many of those, but an exclamation point is that if you roll 3 dice and the roll is 666, the score listed is -1. So a 3 with an exclamation point would become a 2. And so usually if the score listed is going to be a birdie, and so this would give you a chance to take 1 more off, so you get a possible eagle, or, you know, whatever, a double eagle, I guess is what those are called. So those are those results with the special symbols. Those are the ones that get you, you know, the really high or really low opportunities to get some of those unusual scores. Again, the big X or the little X, those are played off of the quick play number of the player. The big X is a possibility for a birdie or a par. The little X is a par or a bogey. If the quick play rating is equal to or greater, then you get the better of the two. If it's less than the number next to the X, then you get the worst of the two. So, for example, if you get 9 or higher on your quick play rating, you would get a birdie. If you had 8 or less, you would get a par. On the little X, on here, is a 6. So if you got 6 or more, you would get a par. If you got under 6, you get a bogey. So again, the big X, birdie or par, little X, par or bogey. And then the A, B, C, and D's are modifiers for how the course is played. So it's simple as that. And as you can see, it plays really quick. You know, getting your course So we'll look at Augusta here. So we get our ratings here. So this is on the first hole, you always get, how to get the course conditions. So the first number, you roll a 1 through 6 here at Augusta. If you rolled a 1, it's soft. If you rolled a 2 or 3, it's normal. 4 through 6 is hard. So that's how you get that one. The second number is your wind. 1 through 4 is calm. 5 through 6 is strong. And so every course will have this. So if you don't have this and you just have the quick play cards, then you'll have to try to figure out how to get your course conditions. But, if you have these along with it, you can get the course conditions before you start rolling your quick play. And then let's see, what was the other one? Oh, the PGA conditions. So this is in the rules. So if it's a PGA tournament, the rough is really hard. USA, it's kind of hard, and then normal conditions, the rough is usually the easiest. Augusta actually has a special rule for their rough. If you roll a 1, 2, or 3 and you're in the rough, you actually get to play it like it's in the fairway. So the rough at Augusta is not much at all. So again, you can get things like that from the first hole if you happen to have the full course as opposed to just the quick play. If you have just the quick play, you're not going to have that ability to try to see what the course will roll, and you'll just have to figure that out. But I have, again, I get the main courses first because I enjoy the hole by hole the most, and then I get these with it if I want to add a little extra to my play. So anyway, I hope that explained it. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments. If I made any mistakes or there's something I'm missing, feel free to say so in the comments as well. I pulled this game out. It's interesting when you go away from a game and then come back to it. It comes back, at least this one comes back quite a bit easier. I remember I kind of gave up on this one a little bit because it felt like it was a little bit more than I wanted to think about. But coming back to it the second time, I'm actually finding it relatively easy. Now, granted, there's a couple of the rules that I was struggling with, like the aim chart. I'm not doing that, but most of the other rules I am. So I've simplified it a little bit, but still coming back to it, I'm having some good fun. So now that I have remembered how to do the quick play and have that ability for all the courses that I have, that's something I would definitely incorporate. Be able to do some Shell Wonderful World of Golfs. I enjoy those a lot, watching them on YouTube, and that would be a fun, easy thing to replay. Do some tournaments with maybe 10 players, some of the greater players I have, or, just again, it gives you more options. So it's not as easy as Action PC Golf, where you can run through a tournament of 150 players, relatively quick because of the auto play, and then you can play out your holes. One thing about Action PC, it's a little bit more arcade, and I could be wrong about that, but it's this one seems more. There's a lot of strategy in this. It's a lot of fun. I don't know, maybe because I'm rolling the dice, it feels that way to me. I love Action PC Golf, but this feels more like a simulation to me, whereas Action PC feels a little bit more like a arcade. Now, I know it's a simulation. It's more simulation than arcade, but it seems to be more arcade to me. Maybe it's the graphics, maybe, I don't know. For this seems more like a simulation of golf because, you make the decisions and then roll the dice and get the result. So I don't know. Again, feel free to share anything in the comments. So I hope that was helpful. Again, any questions, feel free to put in the comment sections. And I will see you next time.